committee? That's something.
Michelle.
It should.
Oh, because we're in the finals.
I know.
Okay. Oh,
Microphone.
oh, okay. All of a sudden I was,
No,
thought I was plugged in.
I haven't noticed its name is General Legal and then that's just one. Sorry.
Ready?
Yep.
First thing on the agenda for finance committee meeting today is the Hudson Mile Fund. I sent out an email earlier today. From my understanding, there's about $700 left over from when we were doing the awards back in April. In October, they asked me if there was any funds left over. I said, fill out the form. I'll bring it to the finance committee, which is where we are. So they fill out the form. I sent you the response. Questions?
No, I think, before they sent in the application, we had an email and I think giving them the money.
Yeah. And we know how it all went, so it's, yeah,
I
it
do
cost
think-
them 12,000, they paid for it, they funded it. And it's something probably we're gonna start having every year, but
But I think there were some things about it that we needed to look at.
yes.
Because I was thinking from last meeting, code and so forth. And I know when we were looking at the Oktoberfest stuff,
Mhm.
we had put language in there that the event would have to pay for any additional policing and so on. There was a lot of policing for that event. And so there's a lot of cost in the city for that event. It also, because of the timing, on a Saturday afternoon, the restaurants on Warren Street lost a lot of business. There's nobody to pick that one.
The time is,
So I think what would be preferable, and we can talk to them next year, a lot of these races occur in the morning for the reason. So if they were to do it at 8 in the morning, one could meet, and then it wouldn't have to make within us on Saturday.
so we used 2 police officers and apparently, it was, the reason why they're doing it in the afternoon. And believe it or not, this, I think it's a network of a lot of cities are doing these events, these runs, is in order to boom the businesses. Apparently, more people afterwards, they go to a restaurant, that's the idea.
Well,
But it can be that,
That's not what happened.
yeah,
got a question.
there is,
Yeah.
the problem with that is parking and everything.
Yes. Let's start a question. Last year, how much was left over? It was
Everybody's
$30. So how was this much left over this time?
Because if you,
I wasn't here when we were giving them the money to different organizations. I missed that meeting. I wasn't here, so I was just asking, why was there such a large amount left over?
because that we had less participants.
Yeah, we had less people.
And we don't give out more than what somebody asks.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
We don't give out, we do not give more than it is asked for. So there was one particular entity, I don't recall, they only asked the firemen, I think, they only asked for 800.
Mhm.
And we could have given them more, but that's, we just gave them what they asked.
Okay. Yes.
So I think with the mild people, I think we just need to sit down and, lessons learned, how we're going to do this in the future. But I myself was going out on Saturday evening, and I couldn't get down Warren Street. So I thought, okay, I'll go down to go down to the end of Warren Street. That was blocked off. I ended up having, and at that point, I was going trying to get home. And I had to go all the way up to the hospital and back around again, from down Union Street, because that was the only way I could go. So
Also, the farmers, there was a big flea market at Basilica, where a lot of people, so there was, the whole area was packed. I
Exactly.
think doing it in the morning, there are benefits if, if that is what the structure of this event is.
In the morning, what day was that, on Saturday?
Saturday.
That would be hard. Because
yeah, Saturday at 6
Saturday
o'clock.
mornings,
Yeah, I don't know.
Or Sunday morning, maybe Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
Saturday and Sundays are like, really busy around here, even
Yeah.
though traffic is.
I'll be happy to talk.
Well, I also think that we as a council should be notified about mass gatherings.
Yes.
Because I had no idea. I mean, there's so many mass gatherings that are happening. And, they were towing cars off of Warren Street because of it.
I think it's a good idea to be notified because we have constituents that they're not happy about this and we need to respond.
And this was the first annual Hudson Mile
Very first one.
here. And then they
So,
didn't,
you know, so this is like a situation where, okay, let's have an after event, discussion, moment, well, didn't go well. How can we do it better?
All right, so what are,
So we're giving,
okay, so all in favor of giving the Hudson Mile $700?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nope.
Comments? Okay, so any, any, lessons learned?
lessons learned.
Lessons learned from this event are, I think, number one is that the council should also see mass gathering ordinance. Because there's a lot going on. I think it's just the mayor's office that approves them.
Yes.
DPW police in there.
Right.
We also need to look at who is going to pay for, security and policing for these events. But it was,
Well, it's usually the city.
And then, we have to consider the time, this particular event, the timing,
The time.
because Saturday evening at 6 o'clock, it's peace time, right? Right, lost one.
And one reminder to this applicant, that they need to, submit application within the deadline.
Right.
One more time.
Chief Franklin has their hand up.
Oh. Chief Franklin?
Hi, yes, so, in alignment with that about who's paying for like security services or anything like that, I did, reach out to Hudson Mile prior to the event and other mass gatherings that we've received this year. Specifically, if it's not a Hudson sponsored event, that I've been, saying based on the code to charge security for an overtime rate for officers, particularly in the summer where manpower has been pretty thin. And most people have been very receptive to that, understanding that it's going to be an inconvenience to business owners and the public. And I know the fire department does the same thing, and I believe DPW could do the same thing. So if that's something the committee wants to consider, or the council wants to consider as well as making a part of that.
So, but Chief, in this particular instance, security was paid for by the Hudson Mile.
Yes.
Right. Thank you.
Not for DPW, but for officers. And yes, and Hudson Mile did have volunteers that I requested that they have for runners to assist with that as well.
And you gave them an estimate prior? So
Sorry.
they knew how- You gave them an estimate prior or afterwards, in terms of like, I mean, how does it actually work?
Prior to, so the way we've been doing it, when the council agreed for that overtime rate that we used for Report Corp, we've used that same rate, particularly because we usually have to call officers in for overtime. So it's an average rate between the highest salary and the lowest salary, at our contractual, at the officer's contractual 3-hour minimum. And most mass gatherings are at least 3 hours anyway. And so we provide an invoice prior to and ask the clerk's office to hold the permit until that is paid.
Fair. One more question. And, is this the only event that you've done, that we've done this for? We've done it for other?
No, the payment?
Yeah.
No, there's another that they have to pay. I was trying to find something where we, this, put it into the agreement.
Oh.
I think October has to go.
Oh. Okay, but like,
In the code itself, it doesn't explicit, it's not explicit, Chief, right? Because if it's a Hudson sponsor thing, then we're paying for it. It's not really explicit in the code,
I see,
and we should probably.
yes. Peter?
I had basically the same question. I don't, is Flag Day considered Hudson sponsored? Is Hudson Pride considered Hudson sponsored? What's considered Hudson sponsored and what is it?
We will look into it.
Yeah. You end up paying.
And
So Ms. Santa, has there been any other one that have paid, other event?
So Chief, what other events have paid the police department?
Chabad of Columbia County, who's doing a festival. next month paid as well for an officer down at the waterfront. And then, forgive me, there was one other, sorry, one, two, sorry. And then there was one other, I can't remember it off the top of my head.
This is questions. Go back.
The fine books is fine. First of all, and then.
We want to do this today.
No, I can do it later.
Do you want to do the legal?
Yeah.
Question?
I just want to add a point of order context, that in every other city that I have lived, it is customary for all public events and private events to pay for every officer for every hour. And it's usually like it's double what HPD charges private events. And so while I think it's a great service to the city and for public safety, it seems to me that when we do the budget next year, we should either pre-allocate a certain amount of generally approved, events as Peter pointed out, or enable Chief Franklin to charge a fair rate and not have to make exceptions that would lead to accusations of error.
Yeah, we'll have to come up with a rate for police, DPW.
I was just looking, it says that, Hudson sponsor typically refers to events, programs, or initiatives that are officially organized, funded, or endorsed by the city of Hudson.
But you see, that's still vague, that's now we have a door.
Well, the city government departments and committees,
I mean, like, we participate in the, Flag Day parade, the government.
So, Ms. Sandra,
We participate.
an event like, I'm sorry, Chief, an event like the Flag Day, I thought that you have help from the county too. Don't we have a lot of county police officers too?
Yeah, so because that event is so large, we have the state police, we have Amtrak police, we have multiple agencies to include the sheriff's office, and that's a joint effort. So there is, all the agencies just tend to pay for that. It's something that we account for in our budget, knowing that Flag Day happens every year. And obviously that's open to
I
discussion.
just don't know how we can possibly separate this and say, okay, Chatham gives this amount of police officers, so we're charging this. I mean, if we start charging an event like Flag Day, it's so hard to give.
But I think we can probably say that Flag Day for Hudson are sponsored by, that's one, we officially, don't officially.
Well,
If women council has their own role in the Flag Day, and we have our own culture nationality. So we have this one.
Well, I mean, there are other ones, but next.
We also participate in the market.
What I'm thinking is, if maybe the mass gathering information coming from front of the council,
Mhm.
when we see the mass gathering, there should be line items that say it's going to cost X and Y for police and DPW. That we can determine, the council can make a decision on whether or not it's sponsored or.
Pricing everything is very important. Having a projected figure of what everything's gonna cost, I think is fantastic and should be done. But again, there are some events is what makes Hudson Day Hudson. We're not gonna have Black Day, right? Memorial, I mean, we can't charge them.
It's where it says it's sponsored, you just need to
Well,
have it sponsored.
we would determine whether or not how much we can charge.
And there is money coming in. I mean, with Flag Day, everything was busy. People were going in and out of stores. We make,
no, they're not. As I said, I mean, no, they're not, they lose money.
They actually,
They do,
I was on the Flag Day committee, I worked on Warren,
they do, money.
they lose money.
Okay.
Doesn't matter.
You have a question?
I'll keep my safest one sentence to save you time, Chair. We should just check with Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and Cambridge, Massachusetts, who are big as the town, come on. And what they do is the city manager and mayor and police chief issues a schedule with open slots. and then community groups sort of talk at one meeting once a year, but who gets what slot. And then the mayor or city manager forces the group together, so you have a morning thing, an afternoon thing, and just one cleanup, and the police stay throughout. So for example, could be Hudson Mile and the Flag Day be on the same day.
No.
Okay, well, then I guess something else.
No, something else.
Okay, but then,
Take another one.
but then you have to pay more, maybe Flag Day and not. Let's scratch, I'll be computer and Flag Day for fun.
Okay, so Margaret, we
Yeah,
got
just say Flag Day.
all right, legal will take this on and we'll put it on the agenda for legal, and you legal can figure out if you want
Definitions.
definitions, maybe if we want to have a special meeting for it, that's fine. That's right, let's move on. Parking,
Okay.
all right, how do we want to approach this? Do we,
Do you want me to quickly go through the changes that were made to the parking plan and then move on to fees and time?
quickly?
Okay. So under goals, I
Hang on a
have,
second, can you pull it up? Because we have people on from the public.
yeah,
What are you talking about, your body?
no, I'm talking about the parking. Under goals, the first goal is to create a dedicated parking bureau and parking bureau chief. We have met that goal already. Consolidation of parking related matters under the parking bureau to be located within the HPD. We have met that goal. To replace antiquated systems and hardware with new kiosk parking and text to pay or text to park. Kiosk enforcement handhelds T2 text to pay will be run off the same software, streamlining all the processes. The new software will be able to run daily analytics for easy understanding of how many parkers are there each day, how long each stays, where people are parking most, and this information will be immensely helpful in future parking decision-making. Create consistent branding and informative signage. Our current signage is old, inconsistent, and some is non-existent to raise revenue. So we will be changing the code. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about today, to reflect the new fees and permitting and accessibility, parking, etc. So here we go to pricing. So pricing at South Front Street, long-term municipal lot is now $10 a day. It was previously, and it's $50 a week. I know that I've heard from Margaret that she thinks that that is not a big enough discount, but they're getting 2 free days. So that's page, I put the pages wrong, Margaret, but anyway. Go to pricing. Look at pricing.
I think, is it under currently?
Yellow. So I want to look at the top yellow, look for yellow. That's all about place. Here we go. Yeah.
There's
Go to the left. page. I've heard from Margaret that, she thinks that's not a deep enough discount. I don't think, I mean, from what I have been told by ITS and by, T2, who runs the software, these things are easy if we wanted to put permits back in place. Or some other.
So you're talking about the $10 a day?
No, $10 a day is the way it's always been.
No,
It's
what
the
did you-
$50 a week.
Okay.
Margaret didn't think that was a big enough
No,
discount.
I missed the
It's
beginning.
3 days. Yeah. Short-term municipal lots. I'm not trying to be rough, I'm just trying to go just.
I can't hear.
Short-term municipal lots, we've raised the rent, raised the fees already to 75 cents an hour. I can't hear myself. Stay not to exceed 10 hours. How do you feel about that? I'm thinking about people who work in hotels, waitresses, whatever. If they have an 8-hour shift, I'd like them to be able to have some time on either end. How do you feel?
What is it now? Isn't it 8 hours now?
I don't think so. I see people park there all night.
Right, because after a certain time, you don't.
So what happens after the 10?
They get a ticket. They have to leave their car, is what we're saying. What has happened is people have found out, people that parked at the long-term lot and had a permit for $1,000 and found out that you can get a permit for $250 in the short-term lots. That's current. That is not what we're doing going forward. We'd like to raise that permit for those lots to $500 a year, $250 for 6 months. How do you feel about that? Do you want me to write all of this, or do you have all of it?
It's good.
Okay. We're gonna have a permit by plate program. We're not doing hand tag permits anymore because people give them to their friends, their cousins, their whoever. And these things get used all the time, and they're used in the wrong lots, and so the people from the Columbia County use the municipal lots, which is not cool. So we're doing permits by plate. So when the enforcement guys come around and scan the plate, they'll know who has a permit and who doesn't. The last time that permit fees were increased was 2012. On-street parking, 1 hour for the first 2 hours. This was the suggestion by Kevin, our consultant. 1 hour. But the first 2 hours is a $1 fee, and then after that is $2 because we want people to move.
What happens if somebody lives there, like lower?
This is the problem.
Yeah.
So do you have a suggestion?
I do,
Okay, what's your suggestion?
that residents be able to register as residents and that they get a state, because of their registration, they will automatically get a separate.
Well, it should be the $1, not the $2.
Okay.
That's all. I was just thinking to keep it.
And just keep it flat.
Yeah.
Okay. Good by Kevin's suggestion. We're also doing a program, accessibility parking. It's for people with severe disabilities so that they do not have to pay a fee at all and they don't have to.
I saw that somewhere. The only question I have is, in order to register for it, you have to pay $50. Says
That was Dominic's suggestion, Mr. ADA.
I don't know
Suggested-
why.
He suggested that because we are going to have to do the back end work.
Which is
And
what? What's the fact?
Doreen's gonna have to enter it into Iris, which is our new software.
But it's not their fault, they're safe.
But also because they're not paying it every day, $50 is not a lot for an entire year.
I mean, as long as it is.
That's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, they keep it part, and yeah, exactly. So they are getting a really great deal, I think. And he thinks that it should be a yearly fee, so you have to re-register every year. And he also thought
It's
that,
hard with people with disability to go and register at all, but if that's.
no, it's all online. It's all,
Yeah,
gonna be-
okay.
yeah.
How are you defining severe disability?
There is a form that, New York State has, and you fill it out, and it's very similar to getting your tag for your car.
Well, to be able to drive, you probably talking of not being able to walk, I guess.
Well, there's anyone who can move,
It's-
what's the handicap?
Yeah, the one who uses they will be, and
That
you
you
have your customer sign off.
I think you also need to make allowances for people who have a short-term disability. Such as somebody.
That's why, that was the other reason for him suggesting that we have people re-register every year. So if it's something like, going through something and.
Yeah, you have to go from there.
But that wouldn't be considered a severe disability under what was written by New York State.
Okay, go.
I could send you that, but, the last time on street and municipal hourly rates increased was 5 years ago. Our on-street parking rates have not been raised since 2012. And are some of the lowest in the Hudson Valley. For instance, Albany is $2.30, up to $8, depending on the zone and the vehicle you drive. Kingston is $1.30, Cold Spring is $2, Rhinebeck is $1. So how do you feel about those things so far?
Good.
Good? All right. Great. Now, hours. 8 to 6 PM is what was suggested by Kevin.
I don't agree.
These are just questions I have.
I don't agree with that because 8 in the morning, people run to get their coffee. It's not any.
Okay,
So
how about 9 to 6?
I think it should be 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Because we
You
also
like it?
need, because I have our meetings here, we don't want people to have to pay in order to come to a lot. No, I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about one to none.
Okay.
Chief Franklin just texted.
Wait.
So
What did she say?
I think Chief Franklin wants to weigh in.
Weigh in, Chief Franklin.
Hi, sorry, I just wanted to go back to the lot fees and the 75 cents. And I know Jenny, you and I talked about this a little bit and the reasoning behind the quarters and the 75-cent fee as opposed to the Warren Street fee. I spoke with Chris, the programmer, who brought up how that would be a concern for because of the kiosks not giving change. And so I subsequently talked to the president about how much more work that would make for her department. And what was said, what was discussed is that unless someone has exact change, they would never get change. And
Well, they have to have exact change now.
Hang on, Chief, you're breaking up a little bit.
Yes, I'm not understanding.
can you hear me okay?
Can I just explain something that you explained to me, which makes sense? So one of the, because I didn't understand the 75-cent thing either. So if the kiosks are set up to only accept bills, my point, that is more efficient in terms of collecting the monies out of it. And so if we are doing bills and not coins, then it makes sense. Then the $70 versus 79 cents makes perfect sense, because then you could eliminate points. Correct, Chief?
Yes. And so what would happen is, unless someone has exact change, they wouldn't receive change. So then that would be de minimis for the city. So then the person would have the legal right to request that refund back from the city. And then we would have to accept that and then ask the treasurer's office to cut the person a check, which would cost the city more money than issuing someone 25 cents.
Because we want to get rid of,
So you suggest to make it $1?
right, the whole point is to get rid of them.
So everything's $1 now.
Yes.
I mean, I just wanted to throw that out for consideration after the discussion I had, just as far as efficiency and what would cost the city more money or.
You know, though, then I'm looking at these fees here of Kingston and the other cities, Albany, it's nothing is even, like.
No, nothing is
2.3,
even.
2.3. So, I mean, we can't always round it up to the closer numbers, so you know what I mean?
I
So the
agree
point
with you.
is to get rid of points.
Right. Why, so wait, these kids are also accepting coins and cash.
Coins and cash, and that's the way I've written the paperwork for it to be
Program.
programmed.
So, but what Jennifer and I are saying is that in that respect, we can never have, it always has to be $1 or $2 or $3. It can never be anything else.
Right.
So
they
that
won't
makes
get
no
changed.
sense, because
I
the
agree.
idea of this is eventually to start raising it even more after a few years. Right.
The point is that the machines don't give change, right?
I have asked that they don't give change because, well, they asked me and I said, no. It was a whole situation. We talked this through 800 times already. And it wasn't a problem. So I don't know why Chris, the programmer, is now saying it's a problem.
Chris didn't say it was a problem to program. He said it would be a problem for the city with the kiosk not issuing change.
We can't put the treasurer's office in a position where.
But if it's on the signage, you will not get changed, no change given, no refunds, no blah, blah on the signage, then why is there a legal issue?
Alright, that's true.
First of all, how are the other cities operating and they don't have round numbers? And secondly, the idea of all this is to make it, to put your card and make it easier.
The
And
short
if we have occasions with these decimals, it's gonna be very rare for somebody to follow up and say, okay, I want my refund. You're talking for a few times a year, and if,
And also the short-term lots were always meant to be a little bit less money so that we would encourage people who work on Hudson, who live on Hudson, on Warren to move into the smaller lots and not on the
Yeah.
street. So by taking that away, making it more, or making it the same as parking on the street, there's no incentive for someone to park there.
I mean, I tend to lean to the 75 cents just because eventually I would like us to keep raising those in order for the city to make more money. I mean, that's the whole idea. We can't leave it $1. There's a standard of living goes up.
Well,
Raise everything.
we can ask Crystal if she thinks there would be a problem if it was on the signage and it's right next to the kiosk and it says, no refunds, no change given at the kiosk.
How does that change? A lot of these guys that have actually.
Yeah, then, and see what she says and if
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, we can't have a treasurer's office cover checks, which will.
no, that's ridiculous.
So that's not.
It would cost more to send the damn thing than to.
Well, whatever. Yeah, actually,
Okay, all right. The
You're
next
right,
question.
It's the Sundays.
What, Sunday?
Yes.
Sunday. The suggestion was to add Sunday because there are more people parking on Warren on Sunday than during a weekday. So if you want to take off half a day somewhere else, that's totally fine. I don't know. How do you feel?
Well, we discussed that, I remember back when I was part of this, and we were thinking to have a weekday, and I preferably, I think it's Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Tuesday.
Tuesday can be good, to give off, because that's, can be a day assigned for people, okay, I can go to the city to do all my errands and don't have to pay, rent. So I think that's a good idea.
They're closed on Tuesday.
I was gonna say Mondays.
Not banks and,
That was the recommendation from the parking study.
That was the parking
Yes,
study.
but Sunday,
And
parking on Sunday is mostly going to be.
unless, I mean, if people.
But then if you give the residents a break, you give them a break on a weekday where you don't have too many visitors.
Although most of the stores have, guys have, the stores are,
On Tuesday?
I think they are at Antiques and all.
Okay, what questions do you need answered at this meeting?
that was one of them. Is it okay with you guys, permit by plate for short-term lots, $500 a year? And then $250 for 6 months? Okay, okay, all right.
The times of Sunday.
Okay, and times of Sunday and,
You said you suggested 1 to 4. What did you suggest? For Sundays the whole day or?
no, 1 to 5.
1 to 5.
For changing it from,
Well,
1 to 5, we have to take part between 1 and 5.
yeah.
That's good. For church like.
That's what I was.
always like,
There's 2 churches on Warren.
But it's overlap in one, so.
Yeah.
okay.
I was thinking about that. Yeah, okay, and then. Yeah, as you were talking about the convenience fee, that includes the network. So you being, just getting hooked up to the internet, and then it also includes, the credit card fee, so that's 40 cents. What they are paying currently at Fort Park Mobile is 60 cents, and nobody has made a peep about that,
So the 40 cents is per transaction.
per transaction.
So if they do $1,
And then they decide to re-up, yeah, they're gonna get another 40 cents.
so it'll be a dozen, but
If they're paying with credit card, if they pay up the kiosk, then they're fine.
so if they pay $1 at the kiosk, 40 cents of that go with the insurance to.
If they pay with a credit card. If they pay cash, no.
I had another thought. Instead of having Tuesday, do you think we should have Thursday?
No.
Maybe they.
No.
Let me tell you why.
Right.
Because so Hudson residents can also go shopping and not have to pay. I'm talking just for the people that live in the city.
So when, Chief, I don't know if you can still hear us, when, we were talking about this, Monday and Tuesday are the two slowest days,
Yeah.
which is when they do their collection of fines and so forth,
Mhm.
because they're very slow.
Or maybe Monday.
Monday or Tuesday, I think. was-
No.
Tuesday.
Monday, some people still. Tuesday, all right.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Right.
I have a question about the-
Okay, so that pretty much was all the questions I had. I wanted to also point out to you that when I was doing the math on the parking budget part, the first line on and off street parking, I went back, based my numbers on what is most current from Heather.
Mhm.
And then, I had I thought, oh, well, we're going to be doubling the fee. So originally I had this as something that was lower. It's actually almost $650,000.
So we'll have more money
Yeah.
this year. right?
Yes,
Good.
yeah.
And we're installing them soon.
We are starting, this goes to the plan, we're starting with phase one tomorrow,
Great.
installing.
Beautiful.
So we're just doing the municipal parking lots, the short-term lots and the long-term lot. That's all that we're doing. Because we want to see if it actually works and without
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
everything.
And the warranty is another for a year.
There's warranty, there's also some recurring fees.
Okay.
Yeah, and you'll see that in.
We received them in March, so I'm saying we have until this 2026.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So yeah, so have an inauguration.
Yeah. Good job. Thanks.
You have a question?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think Chief Frank,
Chief, Councilor Hunter, go ahead, Chief.
Go ahead.
Hi, I just wanted, again, in my discussion with Heather, we went over the 2024 actuals from the parking revenue compared to if we were on target to meet 2025 projected. And right now for both on and off street parking and the on-street lots, we are below those targeted projected numbers. And we're
I
looking,
used numbers.
What's that?
Continue.
I used her numbers, not her projected numbers, but the actual numbers up until June.
Yep.
In order to calculate this.
okay, I'm just saying, I met with her on Friday and we went over to project what we've been averaging through July, and we're gonna be under. We'll probably be just slightly over 20% actual.
I don't know that Heather understands, I don't know.
What, how much, Shonda, did you say how cheap, right now, how much homeowner are we talking about?
Okay, so on and off street parking actuals for 2024 was just over 167K. And if we continue to average through November and we don't have free parking for December, we're only looking at about 1,000 to 2,000 more.
Okay, well,
If you double what our actual was last year, because we are doubling the fees, and then you double it again and take some off, because you're adding additional kiosks at the top of Warren and the bottom of Warren, we are making a lot more. We'll pay for this project alone probably in 8 months.
okay, so it's a step between actual versus projected, so I'm still.
I'm using her actual numbers for this.
Okay, great. What,
That's it.
You have a question, Margaret?
So, the $500 fee for the block, does that guarantee the person space in that function?
We have, no, but we have, not currently, but the way it works currently, it's first come, first served. But we had talked about not, making sure to not oversell. And making sure that people actually pick a lot that they want to be in. You not willy-nilly, I'm gonna go park in Columbia one day and then I'm gonna park over here at Union or I'm gonna park there. So that we actually know who goes where, so that we're not, we're not overselling something.
So at the moment, in this plan, do I have to say I want a permit for lot X?
Yes,
And the software does that and we can.
Yes.
Take it for you.
yes. It's all based on zones. So each parking lot has its own zone and each block of the street has its own zone.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to say,
Okay,
what's the last thing? The month, I've been saying it every year, month of December, we have to charge.
Yeah.
This whole having a whole month off.
that is not
is not-
something that's in
No,
the
I know,
plan.
it's not okay, I'm saying it out there.
Okay,
We have to charge, maybe have one day, like a Sunday, they don't pay, but it's insanity.
it's not
We're
in the,
losing so much
it was something that
Yeah, yeah.
is commissioner
I
and
know,
mayor
I know.
related, it's not
I
us.
just took the opportunity.
Okay, great. You just wanted to
Thank
say
you,
that.
Jennifer, thank
That's
you.
probably that way during COVID, right, or something?
No, no, it's craziness. I don't know what, I would find it.
It's been like that for long.
Yeah.
It's, I mean,
Can't throw the comments.
I'm gonna give 30 seconds for one question. 30 seconds.
Ginny, thank you for your work, you're ignoring, trade-off references, when costs go up, it goes down. I will bet you $1,000 that you will not.
I'm not betting.
$10, that you will not make the money back, in 12 months. Like, I looked at the numbers, no is bet for yourself, and I want you to bet, and this person see them
No,
again.
I'm not betting you.
Okay, well.
I don't bet, you gotta be optimistic, you can't never.
Motion to adjourn.
Yes, yes.
Motion to adjourn. Any other
I'll
questions?
email you the bet, Jenny.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
What?
No.
No,
I think
motion
the
to
answer-
adjourn.
Yes.
Second. Great.
Yay, yay, yay.
Adjourn. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.